Here's one of the parts I'm prepping for to clean up, to put on the 445. Already started flat, just kind of flat sanding the surface here with a stone. It's cleaning up pretty good. It's got a few low spots. A little bit more we'll get it pretty flat. Be nice to have like a lapping table or something to do this, but it's okay. It's going to have a gasket, which should take up a very minor variation, but flatter is better on this. And I was going to try to do a little bit more work, but I don't have the freeze plugs for the Galley in the right size, or the cam plug, or Woodruff keys to be able to put the timing set on. So that will, I guess that'll happen another day. So the cam is in place, the crank is in place. I just put in a freeze plug and staked it in place. And if you look in there, there is a freeze plug behind the distributor. What we're going to do is I'm going to start with putting this pin in the cam. Just tap it in there. It should. Well, I don't think the camera's going to stay there. We're going to tap it in place. There's no cam plug in the back. Okay, I think that's it. And we're also going to put had a minute ago. Here we go. Is the I was able to round up a couple Woodruff keys today. Oops. This one's going to be kind of a tight fit. It's good though; it won't fall out. And we're going to install the timing set. But not yet. We're going to put the cam plate on first. Alright, I got to go get some assembly lube. Now, I didn't get new bolts for this. It still has the Phillips head screws, which I think will be fine. We're going to put some Loctite on them. Grab the other one here. Got a number 3 Phillips, and actually I think these would actually take a number 4. But I'm going to use pliers to tighten them. So I got that on. Move this in a position where I can get to it. I think that's going to hold. It's pretty tight. Sometimes there's a fine line between pretty tight and torque to spec. I think they'll be okay. Let's see if this gear slides on the bottom here. I think it will. I'm gonna just bring it back out. Probably gonna shave a little bit of that Woodruff key. Let's see if I can seat that key any further. Pin had a kind of not a tremendously tight fit, but I think it's a little mushroomed over. Well, it's going to take a little more filing. Well, it didn't take very much more filing. So we'll take the chain, put that on, and find the dot, which is right there, and we're going to find a 0 on this. Drop those together. Oh, gotta move that. Probably 2 links. Yeah, so we're going to just do this at 0 because the cam is a custom cam, and it doesn't need to be advanced or retarded because it's at what is designed to be its correct position with the advance that's ground into the cam. So we put this at 0. Put a little lube around here, just so it slides together better. And where the gear sprocket's going to ride up here also. There we go. Okay, attempt number 2. It was pretty easy to get that gear off of there. I have a 2-jaw puller like this. It gripped it, and it took almost hardly any tension at all to get it to come back. And then knock the keyway out of there. And all right, we're going to try it again. This time I'm going to put some lube around here. As well. It's, I mean, there's quite a bit on that other surface, but it's good to have it on both places. Put this back at 0. Yeah, okay. I don't mind a little bit of tapping to get it in place, but what I was doing before was a little excessive. And so we have this bolt, and we're going to be using an eccentric because I am not going to limit myself to fuel injection. I thought about fuel injection on this car, but I decided that I didn't want to do that. Probably I don't think this is a big enough washer here. No, it's got to be big enough that it let me see, let's get the camera in here. It's got to be big enough that it covers that the pin right here, because if the washer doesn't cover the pin, it might come walking out, and then we'll be in trouble. So I'll go find a washer for it. So I finally found a washer that was big enough for this, and it's heavy. I don't know what grade it is, but it is heavy, so it's going to be good enough for this situation here. So I'm going to use some Loctite, and we'll get this put in there. So the book recommends 35 to 45 foot-pounds. We're going to go with the 45. Oops. Find a way to hold this. There we go. Okay, probably a little more like 46. I like to click it multiple times. There, that's TDC on number 1. Oh, there's a long bolt here. There. Well, we're going to do some more Galley plugs. Set that there. Take something with a blunt face. Then we want to get it recessed a little bit. And then we'll take the chisel and stake it. Boy, those go in awfully hard, which is probably a good thing. Alright, then we got a couple more. Right here. These are a Dorman 555002 is what fits there. It's a 7/16 deep plug. They have a deep and a shallow. I gotta get a different driver. This one is like, the ledge of it is up on the China wall. These are bushing drivers from my transmission bushing driver set. Darn, we just had a shard fall off down inside. I don't know if it fell through or not. Sometimes these freeze plugs will shave off an edge, so I'm going to put that there to catch anything that might fall. Maybe it would have been better to turn all these into screw-in freeze plugs. This one is, I don't know if we're going to get it any further. Pick it up with a magnet. Something just a little sharper for that. Oh, that's not a good sign. I think that one's too deep and it got distorted trying to hammer it too much. Okay, so now we have the Dorman 555003, which is more shallow of a plug. It's also 7/16. Okay, so that should be okay. I don't trust them. Even staked in place, I don't trust them. I'm just gonna have to take this back apart and do the screw-in freeze plugs, because while it's a bit of work, it's a whole lot less work now to take everything out than it is to pull it out of the car, fix whatever damage was done, and then put screw-in freeze plugs in. So, should have did it when I had the opportunity to do it. And a friend of mine said, you really ought to put the screw-in freeze plugs in, or I mean, the screw-in plugs, pipe plugs, because the freeze plugs can pop out. And I said, shouldn't be a problem, I'll stake them in place. But you know, you can hammer a little chisel down there and then realize how easy it is to make this stupid thing wiggle. So they're going to come out and get screw-in freeze plugs and be done with it. Well, it only took about 20 minutes to take all this apart. Everything will get a cleaning, and you know, at least one of the things I wanted to see was whether that RTV that I squirted down the side would go all the way to the bottom, and it sure did. So I like that trick. Thank you, Brent. Brent is also the guy that told me to put the screw-in freeze plugs in. Should have listened to Brent the first time. But at least we're not stuck somewhere on the side of the road with no oil pressure. Doing it now, and it'll be done and complete. No skipping steps. And of course there's one I can't get to because this is in the way. Okay, so what we're doing is we're using a 7/16 drill bit, because that's the correct size for a 1/4 inch NPT pipe plug. So drilling out everywhere that a plug will go. Over here, 2 back here, 1 over here, and 4 back here, and then 1 in the front. So we're going to tap this hole, which I already started a couple turns. Let's go get a pipe plug and see how it fits. Okay, let's see how this pipe plug goes in. I have a feeling it's not going to go in about a couple threads. So we got to go a little deeper with the tap. Get it widened out a bit. There we go. Now the question is, how far was that tap? Alright, so we'll make a mark on here to kind of signify where to stop on the next one. Oh, a little squeaky. Let's put some tap magic on it. Well, I heard a little click, and that's some days go like this. Well, I can use my regular short tap to get started and then move to the longer tap to finish it out. This tap's a little bit dull, but it's full length instead of broken off like the other one. Well, get that started. Okay, well, it works. Oh, just gotta do the rest of them. So all the holes are tapped now. Should have did this the other day, but we got a pretty flush engagement, which is good. So we'll probably have to wait till tomorrow for somebody to be here to help me put the block in the washing machine. So, well, that'll probably be it for tonight. Live and learn. Not an engine builder, not a machinist either. You know, this is a fun learning experience. And, you know, learn as we go. And probably do a little backtracking here and there. But that's par for the course with it, unless you have experience doing things. So, anyway. Okay. See you tomorrow. Okay, here we go again. So I took everything back apart. I didn't trust how those freeze plugs were going into the Galley plugs. So I had to take everything back apart out of here so I could drill and tap for each plug, which I did. I should have listened to Brent Likens. He said I ought to drill all these galley plugs because the push-in style freeze plugs have the potential to pop out. So, and I believe they would have popped out because as they were going in, I don't know, they just didn't feel that good and they came out pretty easy. So block has been cleaned and washed and blown out, and the cylinders wiped with WD-40, so that's all done. And oh yeah, look at that. Yep, I just hit it with my foot. The galley plug that didn't stay, even though it was staked in place, it came out pretty darn easy. So yep, drilling, tapping, because I don't need to put this in the car and have a galley plug pop out and either ruin something or at a minimum leave me stuck on the side of the road, which where this car is going might be pretty darn far away. So we're going to do the sure thing and have screw-in freeze plugs. So now I can start assembling the engine. Why didn't I do screw-in freeze plugs before? Maybe I was feeling lazy, because I have a box of 100 pipe plugs here. So we're gonna take some of these out to use on this engine. So I'm going to use a little bit of Teflon tape here, and it should be okay. Pipe dope would probably be better for this, but this will be okay if I don't get overzealous with it, and then I pick off the extra or the excess that might hang out of the top. The way it's put on there, you know, it's not hanging off on the inside. So when it goes into a pipe plug, or you know, into the bore that it's going in, it should be okay. Let me set the camera up here. Put in one of these. That's pretty tight. So if I pick off this excess that got pushed on the outside, which is probably about half of it, that'll be okay. So there it is, it's in there. And then we'll do the rest of them. That's pretty tight. I mean, these outside ones, it doesn't matter if we pull the excess off, but we might as well clean it up. And we're in good shape. All right, now time to get the crank back in there.